I've once again got myself into a precarious situation. You know Aurora's Briar Rose dress? Well, I want to make it for a run fair I'm going to on Saturday. However, the precarious part of this endeavor is that I only have 2 days. Well, one actually. Today. It's Thursday night, and I leave tomorrow afternoon, which gives me roughly 24 hours to complete this. Because of course I didn't learn from the first 1,000 times I procrastinated. Why do we have experiences other than to ignore the lessons we've learned and carry on as we were before? Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking now and start. There's nothing like the sweet taste of—
What the heck am I doing? What am I getting myself into?
There's truly nothing like it. First things first, we gotta figure out what we're working with. I have this bed sheet I got from Value Village, as per usual, which actually looks like satin, so what is steel? I probably got this for under $10. I have this black damask fabric, because I like to add a little touch of uniqueness to my garments. I also have some muslin and cotton fabric to use as lining and to encase the boning channels. I also have these pretty flower appliques for the skirt. Then, lastly, I have this cotton fabric for the blouse, which ended up not being cotton at all. The package said it was 50-50 cotton polyester, but as a seasoned seamstress, I could tell that something was a little fishy. Just by touching the fabric, I could tell that it was not a 50-50 blend. So I cut a swatch and performed a burn test. Thank you, Bernadette Banner. And would you look at that? It didn't burn. Greedy, slimy snakes. Actually, snakes aren't slimy. I have one and he's actually really nice. But the point is, I got scammed. Insert animal that represents dishonesty and cowardice. I eventually found a bedsheet that was 50-50 cotton, which was not a deal. I'd prefer 100% cotton, but there's no way that I was going to be walking around all day during the hottest time of the year in 100% polyester. So I had to make do. Okay, so I've concluded that the best course of action and the best plan is to not look at the time, because each time I do, I regret my decision to do this more and more. Here we go, cutting the pieces out, which is such a peaceful part of the process, by the way. When I was younger, I really didn't pay much attention to cutting out the pattern pieces. I would actually rush through it so I could get the dress done faster, but I realized that cutting the pieces out incorrectly will lead to a whole host of problems down the line. And in the wise words of Rarity from My Little Pony, don't you know a stitch in time saves 9? I also patterned the blouse because I didn't have a good pattern for the look I wanted. I wanted it to be super loose and to fall off the shoulders. So I just kind of do and da and there you go. I have a pattern. Bippity boppity boo, am I right? Okay, so I was just watching Mia Maples because I watch her sometimes when I sew, and she was talking about how the inventor of the lava cake invented it by accident. He took a chocolate sponge cake out of the oven too soon and it became lava cake. I'm pretty sure chocolate chip cookies were invented in kind of a similar way. So it got me thinking, like, why were so many fabulous desserts made by accident? But that also got me thinking, like, a lot of the most iconic desserts are modern. So can we just have a moment of silence for our ancestors who didn't get to experience chocolate chip cookies or lava cake? That is so, like, sad and tragic. Speaking of Mia Maples, I love her content. I just think she's so entertaining. And sometimes when I watch her content, I just think, wow, she is so unproblematic. I don't think anyone could hate her. But boy, was I mistaken? So, I was browsing social media, unfortunately, and what to my wondering eye should appear but an entire subreddit dedicated to hating on Mia Maples and her family. I am not making this up. Look at this caption. I couldn't believe it at first, so I skimmed through some of the comments, thinking maybe this was some kind of joke, but no. Apparently there's an entire community of people who have dedicated a space to hating on Mia Maples. And some of these comments are weird. And I know that most every media figure will get hate on the internet, but that doesn't mean that this isn't weird. Who posts on here? Do you not have anything better to do? I dislike some celebrities, but never once in my life have I thought, I dislike this person so much that I need to go comment under a Reddit thread that's specifically dedicated to hating them. Or better yet, make a Reddit thread that's specifically dedicated to hating them. I was in tears reading some of these comments because the straws that they were grasping at, even her dog Chip was catching strays. Like, what the heck? Why do I always take so long to decide if I want to do something? Oh my god. Despite not having a lot of time, I thought to myself, the process so far was going along pretty well. But that's usually a bad sign. So despite not having a lot of time, I thought to myself, you know what would be a great idea? Sewing horsehair into my hems. More work, tight deadlines, yay! I also started working on this corset bodice, which I had to sew 3 times because I didn't have twill tape to make the boning channels. I'm not sure how to explain this, so I won't. Instead, allow me to direct your attention to this video's segment of Deepish Thoughts. Today's Deepish Thought: how the heck did humans discover eggs? I really need to know, because all I'm imagining right now is a prehistoric human walking around and accidentally stepping on an egg. They're all like, ew, that's gross. What is this little slimy thing with a weird yellow center? What the heck is this abomination? Maybe I should eat it. So they taste it, and then they're like, ew, that's disgusting and slimy. And then they think, maybe I should find another one. Bring it back to home bake, cook it and eat it. So then they do, and it cooks up to this weird whitened color. And then they eat it and go, that's disgusting, just like before. What the heck is this abomination? Why did I put some salt on? You see how that doesn't work? How did we find out that we could eat eggs? Because there's a lot of processes that it has to go through in order to be good. So who was the genius who discovered the majesty of eggs?
Oh my goodness, I am so tired. But I have made some pretty good progress. I laid out my skirt. Really actually seemed like laid out. So that's pretty cool. I'm not quite sure what the plan is. I might move for the positioning of some of them, but I'm really excited for what the skirt's going to look like. We've encountered a major setback. So the fabric glue that I have, I should probably... The fabric glue that I have, this Gorilla fabric glue, is almost completely dry. I've tried my best to push out the glue and it's just not working. So I need to go to the store and I need to get fabric glue, which is probably gonna take me at least 45 minutes. Let's go.
While I was fairly unhappy to have to go back to the store, it was but a temporary setback, a momentary loss. But conveniently, my ego doesn't bruise, so I set off to Michael's in search of a new tube of fabric glue. I was slightly panicked because at this point, I only had about 6 or 7 hours to finish the dress. I was going to buy another tube of Gorilla Glue, but this was the 3rd tube of Gorilla fabric glue to dry up on me and be unusable after 3 months. And I'm pretty sure I store it and close it correctly. And you know how they say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result? So I looked at the other options that were there and I saw this glue. It's not only way thinner and easier to squeeze out of the container, but it is heat activated and it dries almost immediately, which is quite convenient seeing as I was going to be wearing this the next day. So I went back home and started working on the corset for some reason. I have no idea why I did this. I literally told myself on the way home that I was going to be working on gluing the applique. This is why I think I have ADHD. And not in the quirky, I have ADHD, teehee kind of way. More in the, I need help desperately because I can't finish a singular task kind of way. But when I started using the product, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I don't usually talk about sewing in my videos, which is kind of strange because these are sewing videos. But can we take a moment to appreciate how amazing this adhesive is? It is so much easier to work with than other fabric glues I've used. It is odorless, it works pretty much instantly. The only problem is that it's a bit more expensive than the other options, but it saves so much time. So much time. So I think I'm a new customer. Now, regardless of how much time it saved me, this still took me an hour. So I'm glad I did it earlier in the day. Sorry, this is usually the segment of the video where I fill you guys in on what happened during this project. Kooky, wacky things that I encountered during its completion. But I pretty much didn't do anything cool. I just stayed inside. I actually worked on it. I didn't procrastinate. Mostly because I kind of couldn't. So I don't have much to talk about. Oh, why don't we read a Reddit post? Ooh, I love being in other people's messy dramas. I don't know why. It's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. Okay, here we go. Am I the a-hole for being upset that my wife forgot to tell me the wedding dress code? My wife was a bridesmaid in one of her close friends' weddings this weekend. She had been involved in the planning for months, with dress fittings, rehearsals, group chat. Yeah, I actually don't care. Hey, in other news, did you hear that they're making a live-action Princess and the Frog? Well, according to Google, it's more of a spin-off rather than a direct remake, but I don't care. I just want to see Dr. Facilier. He's so cool. I actually dressed up as him for my first Fan Expo convention, but that was really embarrassing, so you don't get to see that. Am I the only one who wants him to be played by Lenny Kravitz? There I was, 4 hours from departure time, and just as cool as a cucumber. And get this, I even took extra time to do a zigzag stitch over all the boning channels so that they would stay flat in the future. Don't worry, I'm just as shocked as you. I am watching this footage like I'm some foreign zoo animal. It's just not like me to be so composed. Speaking of cucumbers, why is the saying cool as a cucumber? They aren't even that cool. Pretty overrated vegetable if you ask me. Well, technically fruit. And I know nobody asked me, but ask yourself a serious question. What do cucumbers actually bring to the table? Pun intended. They just taste like water. At least watermelon has the decency to have some flavor. But gosh, cucumber, give us something. And I know it's because of the C sound, the K sound, but there are a lot of cool things that start with a K. Care Bears, cookies, Cumberbatch, Benedict Cumberbatch, he's pretty cool. And I don't have beef with cucumbers, but like, they're just so basic. You ever talk to someone and be like, man, you're cool and everything, but you could be literally anyone else and I would not care? And I wouldn't be slandering them so if they weren't invading veggie platters all across the country. Every time I see one, I'm like, seriously? Replace it with another color of bell pepper. It's like Changes being nominated for Best Album in 2021. I'm happy for you, dude, but why are you here? There were so many better options. That was a joke, by the way. I actually really did like Changes.
That actually does look pretty good. Only thing at the back is that that's a pretty large gap. I don't know what to do about that because I don't really have time to make a modesty panel. But that is something I'll probably do in the future. I was considering not putting the highlights in, but I know for a fact that whenever I say I'm gonna do something later, I never do it. So I'm just doing it now.
Finished up with the corset, I just sat there in shock. It was now 2 hours to departure time, but I was basically finished. All I really needed to do was make the blouse and gather the skirt into the waistband. Now, I love puff sleeves, but I don't love sewing them. They're just tedious and annoying, but I got these done pretty fast. And all in all, the blouse literally took me less than an hour. That is crazy. I feel like Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. I just black out and all of a sudden I've done something. But I don't remember how, when, or why I did it. It just exists now. And I can't remember the steps it took to get there. Speaking of, I really need to finish Demon Slayer. I don't know if it's finished, but I do know I haven't watched all of it that's out. I stopped watching after a certain battle. I was very emotionally damaged, and I don't want to talk about it. Oh wait, speaking of anime in general, you may or may not have seen me wear these Attack on Titan shorts. I picked them up off the clearance rack at Hot Topic, and now they're like my favorite shorts. The only problem is, I've never watched Attack on Titan. Actually, I watched the first episode, but I was like, this is way too scary for me. No thank you. And you may be thinking, what is the problem? What is your problem, actually? Why are you just talking about random stuff? Well, I was at Dollarama the other day, and the cashier looked at my shorts and was like, oh my gosh, Attack on Titan! You like Attack on Titan? And without thinking, I was like, yeah. But in my head, I was like, I hope he doesn't ask any follow-up questions. And then he was like, cool. Who's your favorite character? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Because not only was this a very nice cashier, but he was a very cute cashier. And what's worse than embarrassing yourself? Embarrassing yourself in front of someone cute. So in a desperate attempt to regain aura, I tried to play it off like, oh, I actually don't know yet. I just started watching Attack on Titan. I need to get more into it to decide. And he was like, well, it better be Levi. Short Kings Unite. So I guess I'll be looking for Levi when I work up the courage to watch Attack on Titan again. As I finished up the skirt, I looked at the time and was like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I have extra time? This is not how that was supposed to go. I'm normally freaked out and panicking by now. How on earth did I finish early? Goodness gracious. Have I become part robot? I haven't had enough time to try it on and record myself in the mirror.
Okay, well, let me just not film right next to my house. Okay, well, I don't really know what to do with myself. I finished early and now I'm on my way to the bus on time. That never happens.
But seriously, this was the first time I had actually finished a project ahead of schedule. It's almost like I've gotten better at my craft. Guys, I even got to the bus stop early. Something mysterious is going on. Very mysterious. Anyway, My friend and I had a marvelous time at the Ren Fair. I would love to gatekeep this, but seriously, the Fergus Ren Fair is so amazing. I've never been to a Ren Fair, but I have been to cosplay conventions, but a lot of fairs just seem like huge shopping malls that you often have to pay to get into. But the Fergus Ren Fair seems so dedicated to giving its attendees an amazing experience, regardless if they have money to spend on food and the vendors there, or if they're just looking to have a good time that day. They offer free parking, free shuttles to take you to and from the fair that run all day, free events that run in the middle of the fair, and these are all well thought out events too. You ever been to a convention and you just think, I see what they were going for there, but it just wasn't fleshed out completely? Well, the Fergus Ren Fair fleshed it out completely. They shut down the whole downtown. They hired actors to play the king and queen, and it really just feels like a group of people put a lot of thought into how to make this event as enjoyable as possible and accessible all day long. So in addition to the amazing vendors, there were so many fun free activities. I did medieval dancing in the town square. I met so many amazing people in amazing costumes. Jeez, I was outdressed, and that never usually happens. Look, I even got my name written in medieval calligraphy. I cannot compliment this event enough. So if you can attend the Fergus Ren Fair, it is truly a one-of-a-kind experience.
Some of my best friends are kings. It's fine.
I'm just realizing, looking at my script, that I completely forgot to include the wig. I think at the point that I wrote this, I wasn't sure if I wanted to make the wig. I didn't make it for the Ren Fair because, well, that would be very hot. I followed a Wigs by Cody tutorial, so if you like the wig in this video and you would like to make it yourself, go follow her tutorial. I'll link it in the description. I suppose since this is a video of the entire look, and I probably used a photo with the wig in the thumbnail, I should probably insert clips of the finished dress and the wig. Recalibrating, inserting footage now. That's all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe if you liked it, and comment down below which dress I should make next. Bye!